It was the night every high schooler dreamed of: shimmering lights, the sound of music vibrating through the hall, laughter echoing as students in elegant gowns and sharp suits gathered for prom night. But for Emily Carter, the new girl in town, this night carried a different weight. She had transferred only a few months ago, quiet, reserved, always sitting at the back of the class, barely speaking unless asked. Nobody knew her past, and no one cared to. To most of her classmates she was invisible, until tonight. Emily had spent hours preparing. Her mother's old dress slightly altered, her hair styled simply, and a small touch of makeup to give her confidence. She wanted to blend in, maybe even smile, maybe even dance. She wanted just one night where she wasn't the new girl. But bullies, they had other plans. Among them was Vanessa Blake, the so-called prom queen, blonde, rich, and cruel. Vanessa's entourage of girls, along with her date, smirked every time Emily passed by, whispering and laughing. At first, Emily tried to ignore them, but she could feel their eyes scanning her every move. Then, at the height of the evening, when the DJ announced the slow dance, Vanessa struck. She pretended to welcome Emily into their group, coaxed her onto the dance floor, and then, with a snap of her fingers, one of her friends tripped Emily. The crowd erupted in laughter as Emily stumbled, landing hard on her knees, her dress tearing at the seam. But that wasn't enough. Vanessa grabbed a cup of punch and poured it over Emily's head, the red liquid soaking her hair and running down her face. Phones came out instantly. Flashes and videos capturing every second of the humiliation. Emily froze, standing there in the middle of the dance floor, drenched, trembling. Hearing the chorus of laughter echoing like thunder in her ears. She looked into the crowd, searching for one kind face, one person to stand up for her, but nobody moved. She was utterly alone. Vanessa sneered, leaning close so only Emily could hear. "Go back to where you came from, loser. This is our prom, not yours." The crowd roared again as Vanessa turned away, basking in her power. Emily felt her chest tighten, her throat closing. But somewhere deep inside, beyond the tears and humiliation, another feeling stirred. Something fierce, something primal. She clenched her fists, but she didn't strike back. Not yet. Instead, she ran out of the hall, her dress ruined, her pride shattered, the night she had dreamed of transformed into a nightmare. She locked herself in the bathroom. Staring into the mirror, the broken girl reflected back at her. But then her gaze hardened. They didn't know her. They didn't know what she carried within. Back in her old city, Emily wasn't just any girl. She was a boxer. A fighter trained in the Ruthless gyms where pain was part of survival. Her father, once a champion, had taught her every trick, every punch, every ounce of discipline. She had fought in underground matches, her fists feared, her spirit unbroken. She had promised herself to keep that part of her hidden in this new life, to try to be normal, to escape the past. But tonight, they had awakened the fighter again. She wiped the tears, pulled her wet hair back, and whispered to herself, "They'll never laugh at me again." That night, as she left prom early, walking alone under the cold streetlights, Emily made a vow. This wasn't the end, it was just the beginning. They thought they had broken her, but soon, they would see who she truly was, not a victim, but a ruthless warrior waiting for her moment to rise. The days after prom were unbearable. Videos of Emily's humiliation spread across social media like wildfire. Clips of her falling, of punch dripping down her hair, of Vanessa laughing. It was everywhere. Students replayed it in hallways. Whispered behind her back, pointed and snickered. For most people, this would have been the end, a crushing defeat that drove them deeper into isolation. But not Emily. She let the humiliation fuel her fire. Every night after school, she went to the old boxing gym on the edge of town, the one place she felt alive. The smell of sweat and leather filled the air as she wrapped her hands and pounded the heavy bag until her knuckles bled. Each strike was a memory of that night. Each jab was Vanessa's face. Each hook the laughter of the crowd, each uppercut the sting of betrayal. Her coach, a grizzled old man who knew her father, saw the rage in her eyes and tried to calm her. But Emily shook her head. "I need this," she muttered. Weeks passed. The pain turned into strength, the anger into precision. She trained like a soldier preparing for war, her body hardening, her reflexes sharpening. She knew that revenge wasn't about embarrassing them back. It was about showing them she wasn't someone to toy with. And then the opportunity came. The school hosted a charity boxing event, an annual fundraiser. Students volunteered to fight for entertainment, usually a friendly match for fun. Vanessa's boyfriend, Jason, the star quarterback, signed up, eager to show off his muscles. Emily's name appeared on the roster too. Whispers filled the halls. The new girl's fighting. Nobody took her seriously. They thought it was another chance for her to embarrass herself. The night of the event, the gymnasium buzzed with energy, bleachers packed, the same faces from prom staring down at her. Vanessa sat in the front row, smiling wickedly, confident Emily would be crushed. But when Emily stepped into the ring, gloves on, shoulders squared, eyes cold and focused, the crowd fell into a hushed silence. She wasn't the same girl from prom anymore. The bell rang. Jason came forward, swinging wild, showboating for the crowd. Emily didn't flinch. She slipped, dodged, and countered with speed that stunned everyone. Her fists were a blur, striking with precision. Her body moving with the grace of a seasoned fighter. Within minutes, Jason was staggering, struggling to keep up, and then Emily unleashed. A brutal combination that ended with a clean knockout punch that dropped him flat. The crowd gasped, silence filling the gym, and then erupted in shock. Vanessa's jaw dropped, her face pale. Emily stood in the center of the ring, chest heaving, glaring at the audience. She didn't smile, she didn't celebrate. She simply raised her gloves and spoke into the mic. "I'm not the girl you laugh at anymore. Remember that." The crowd, once mocking her, now roared in awe. Videos of her victory spread faster than her humiliation ever did. She wasn't the punchline anymore. She was the legend, the ruthless boxer who fought back. From that night on, nobody dared cross Emily Carter again. She had shown them all that behind the quiet girl was a storm, behind the new girl was a fighter, and behind the humiliation was a warrior who refused to stay down. And as she left the ring, her eyes found Vanessa's. Emily didn't need to throw a punch at her. Vanessa's silence, her fear, was victory enough. Emily had fought back, and she had won. And that, my friends, is the story of how Emily transformed from a bullied, humiliated girl into a fearless warrior who commanded respect. Life will always have bullies, but strength comes from rising after the fall, from turning pain into power. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more powerful tales of courage, revenge, and resilience, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring more epic stories to life. Don't miss the next one.